Oh, man. Greetings and welcome. Thank you for, oh, look at how cool, stopping by here on YouTube Mobile Live at the one and only, the raw, the rare, the real, tried and true, Bloom from Within Love. I go by Bloomy. If you're logging in live, happy Friday. Happy Friday, July the 29th, 2022, which happens to be my son's late father's birthday, Darrell DeLong Sr., that passed away a few years back. But anyway, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Now, if you don't know me, I invite y'all to look at the description box as well as the videos I've created and the recommendations. If you're returning High Viber, of course, welcome. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining and coming in. If you're coming in with ill will and intentions, thoughts, words, deeds, and rituals, I send it back to you and may it be bound to your reality. But those of you that are in love and light and high vibe positivity, may you equally be filled with all of that beautiful energy that you are sending to me. Now, as you see in the title, I think I'll put something along the lines of illusions, something to do with illusions, hypocrisy, spell work, and word curses. And so I want to talk about that a little bit in terms of how low vibratory beings, whether it's friends, family, exes, really doesn't matter. Um, Whether they're officially doing ritual works or not, but most of them are. How they do this and how they keep people in the illusion. Okay. So, if you are a divine being on a very similar path to myself, this kind of discussion is going to resonate with you and is going to be helpful for you in your on your path, okay? And so here is the illusion, okay? First and foremost, asleep, 3D base, okay? The art of misdirection, Loki, okay? I'm going to always refer you all to Loki, which is Thor's brother. He was known as the god of illusion or something, or misdirection or something mischievous or something like that. And so most of these individuals operate in that kind of energy. And they do it to bend the will of others, and they do it to confuse others. Okay, even gods. If you look at the story of Thor and his family, so you see that there are people who operate from that dense energy, especially if they're dark witches and warlocks, okay, people who do spell work and rituals, they use it in that way, okay? Now here's the twist to the story. The hypocrisy, most of them will not reveal their identity, okay? Especially if their 3D persona that they're trying to perpetuate in the world is opposite to what they really are. So what they will do is hide behind religion, which is has an equal distortion there, but that's another video. Those that don't want to reveal that they actually practice these things will hide behind religion to project their toxicity onto those that are awakened, to those who actually know what they're up to and who they are and what they're about. So now, one way you can start to help yourself on this journey, if you're new to the awakening process, okay, is that pay attention to the subtleties. They'll hide behind the religion as they're trying to trash talk those who are more eccentric, awakened, and all of that. But here's the clue, they themselves do not live up to their beliefs. Okay? They themselves do not actually live up to it. They may go to church, they may quote things, they may say prayers, they may even be people that are givers, okay? But they themselves won't live up to the very things that they're trying to hide behind. So that's the illusion. That's the hypocrisy. So, in other words, they'll hide behind the religion in order to hide their identity. Okay. They don't want people to know that they're distorted witches and warlocks. and that they're into doing spells and that they're into doing sneaky, snaky shit behind people's back. Okay? So they'll talk Christian talk, God talk, quote Bible, quote any type of an organized, man-made religious denominational sector. But again, I'm reinforcing it. So pay attention to these people's, not their words. Pay attention to these people's, not their rituals and practices per se, because some of them have managed to go to an altar, fall out, go to a church service, get 5 crosses around their necks. And, don't look at that. How did you come to meet them? That's the first thing. How did you meet them? And what was the energy surrounding that? Was there a betrayal energy? Was there hidden dishonor? Were they talking about and slandering and trying to come against someone in their own family? Okay, secretly. Were they whoring around with you? Because see, if these people actually believed in what they're saying, first and foremost, they're not going to be doing any immoral shit with anybody. They're not going to be sneaking around with you. They're not going to be drinking and partying with you. Okay? They're not going to be fucking you. They're not going to be, and I'm only saying this because they hide behind that. Okay? They choose to hide behind a religion. But they met you by getting you to fuck them. They met you by sending you texting and pictures of their, parts and whatnot. They met you by lying to you, right? By gossiping on someone else in their own family. Okay. So they themselves are hypocrites, okay? Because in those religious sectors, it's very strict and stringent for those who are claiming to be a part of that. Okay, so first and foremost, you're not having sex outside of wedlock. You don't do porn. You don't do sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Any of that. Okay. Also, you don't do horoscopes. I find it fascinating that people try to demonize tarot readers, but they be going about talking about how they're an Aquarius and they're an Aries and they're this and they're that. And they do look at horoscopes, whether they're fully showing people this or not, because it is the same thing. Horoscopes and tarot goes together. They have a little knowledge of this stuff. Some of them do, especially the dark witches and warlocks, but they pretend like they don't. And they pretend like they're not into it to keep the persona, to keep people believing. But again, they themselves don't live up to what they're trying to get people on a bandwagon and smear campaign others about. That's the hypocrisy. The illusion is that they themselves are into the dark side of what the awakened ones are into. The awakened ones are into benevolence, free will, respect, honor, understanding the laws of the universe. They're into it in a sense of manipulation, darkness, vengeance, thievery, confusion. Okay? People that are in this religious sector, if they were who they claim to be, there would be no hidden dishonor in how they're treating their own family, even family that's different than them. People that are truly operating from a divine energy, whether a family member is, and I'll say air quote, off track or not, they do not seek to sabotage, hurt, or harm and do weird shit behind their back. That's the hypocrisy, and that's the illusion. Okay? These are the very same people that hide the fact that they steal. They cyberstalk, they steal, they lie, but then want to perpetuate a religious bent. So pay more attention, collective. And this will settle you a little bit when you see that confusion going on or nobody don't believe you and yada, yada, because chances are, first and foremost, if they're dark witches and warlocks, They have been doing this for years and for lifetimes, and they have put spells on family members, friends, and associates to keep them believing them, to keep them loyal to them, to keep them obsessed with them, to keep them falling in love with them, to keep them having sex with them. Okay? To keep people feeling sorry for them. All of that, sympathy spells, all of that, all of that. Okay? They do cloaking magic. So what these people try to do is do the rituals to cloak their true identity, to cloak what they've been up to. Okay? Also, protection circles so that they won't receive. But that doesn't last very long. So that they don't receive cause and effect their karma. So start paying attention, you guys. I tell people all the time that come to me, stop being so surface, man. Stop taking things at face value at first glance, because this is what's going to get you fucked up. When you got sophisticated manipulators, which is like my family, sophisticated dark witches and warlocks, which is like my family, that hide behind religion, which is like my family, they're not going to reveal their own hypocrisy. And if you yourself is still kind of asleep, or you're not quite healed, or maybe you never knew much about all of that, first and foremost, again, they don't touch that arena. If you're really in the religious sector like that, you're taught and guided, first and foremost, you're not to be doing horoscopes. You're not to be watching those people. You're not to be going on their platforms. You're not to be participating in any of that. You're not to be having sex. You're not to be watching porn. You're not to be doing gambling and playing the. See, they don't talk about all that. You're not to be getting tattoos. You're not to be eating pork. It's so many things that they don't talk about this while they're perpetuating their so-called religious bent. Not to mention the failure to uphold, especially those who hide behind the Western Christianity, failure to uphold the Beatitudes. Okay, that's one of the main telltale signs. I don't care how many crosses they have. I don't care if they got all of the Bibles, bitch. I don't care if they're at every service. I don't care if they're the lead singer, deacon, whatever they call themselves. Okay. And I'm not attacking. If you guys have followed me long enough, then you know that I believe in free will and rights to be. I have an issue with people using spirituality and religion, especially in a hypocrisy way, to confuse people, to abuse people, and to interfere with people's lives. And because, like I said, they themselves don't uphold it. They couldn't hold it if they were paid to do it. Okay? A spiritual, religious mother is certainly not going to be jealous of her own child, and she's certainly not going to be wishing ill and harm and trying to steal. She's certainly not going to be trying to manipulate the love life and trying to bend somebody's will toward the karmic whore that she preferred. They're certainly not going to perpetuate stealing. They're certainly not going to steal. Do you see where I'm going? They're certainly not going to be covering up whether it's their children or not. If their children are wrong, they're going to call them on it. They're not going to make excuses for it, and they're certainly not going to participate in it. Any fuckery within their own children. You guys have to start paying attention. Highly manipulative. My family is highly manipulative. And I spoke to a distant family member not long ago, an older one who knows full well about what I'm talking about. Highly skilled liars and thieves and con artists and manipulators. Yet they hide behind Christianity and secretly do rituals and word curses over people's lives that they can't control anymore, over people's lives that know their vigil and exposing their fuckery. So while they're trying to discredit folks like myself, they themselves are hypocritical. They create confusion, like I said. They do rituals to confuse divination and spell work and messages so that they can perpetuate what they're trying to say. See, they're crazy. They're not hearing things. They're crazy. They're this and that. We're not dead, but we will be, though. This is the part they don't know. When these individuals, why? You guys say why? Because they fucked with energy. First and foremost, they tried to manipulate divination in the world of energy in the name of trying to discredit a divine being. Second of all, they tried to hide the fact that they were doing all of this shit to a divine being behind their back. So they're going to receive every ounce of it. Then all the people that they get in their groups to laugh and go hee hee and ha ha, whether it's 6 months later or a year later, will sit in awe because they will receive what they've done. So they want to play dead or send confusion, that's going to be their lot. They try to discredit what someone does, this is going to be their lot. Want to play crazy and act like they don't know nothing? See, this is the kind of shit that these people do, namely my family. But collective, if you have a similar path, and if you're new, this is why I'm trying to help you all to look past these programmings that we came here with. Because it's that's going to get you trapped with the devil themselves. And I'm using the term the devil in a sense of these low vibratory energies, frequencies, people who do low down dirty shit, full of addictions and attachments that they try to cover up and hide with rituals and spell work and Christian labels. While they try to project it on the liberated one. And unfortunately, people who are still in that 3D man-made sector, they fall for it. And then they got to swallow karma for getting on the bandwagon with the degenerates. Because you're going to pay. I'm going to say this loud and clear. Nobody on this earth, you, me, or anyone else, don't care what our ethnicity is, our background, our belief system, have the right to interfere in people's lives. Out of our own insecurity, envy, jealousy, bitterness, or belief system. And if people are doing that, trying to use the belief system, this needs to be your alert that they're off. That's one of the main issues of Black culture. It's one of the main issues of my family particularly. They can dish the stuff out, but they can't take it. They want a lot of honor, loyalty, and devotion and privacy and secrecy. But they get behind the backs of others, interfering in other people's lives because they're pissed because they can't be them. They're pissed because they can't get near them. They're pissed because they can't control them. So they try to hurt them. So they're going to have to eat what they've done. And I'm going to say this for the record. My family did some pretty fucked up shit that most of you all, if you knew it, You'd vomit. So as they're running to some of y'all out there in the religious sector, you don't know half of what's happened. It'll serve you well to stay out of it. Since they tried to make a mockery and a fool out of me, they're going to be exposed to the world. And any people who are dumb enough to try to cover up for them and hide them, is going down with them. Because they will be seen for who they are. They have stolen from me. They stalk me. They report my videos. They deny it. They hide. They get children to do this shit. My mother interfered and bent somebody's will to go towards my karmic horror sister. All in secret. All of this is a secret. They get together and they're still at it. They're still doing rituals. They're still hiring practitioners. They're still doing it themselves. And they're all going to eat it. They're still trying to get me trapped. They're still trying to get my shit banned. They use my information, my son's information. They're frauds. And they're going to pay. And if you're dumb enough to believe it didn't happen, all I can tell you is this: it'll serve you well to stay out of it before you get yourself caught up on some shit siding with them. Collective, likewise, so it is for you. Don't let it trip you up, because they do that low-key shit. They invested in death. Death is their end. It's almost like that scriptural saying about living by the sword, die by the sword. Kind of the same thing. They lived by spell work. They're going to die by spell work. They lived by slandering you. They're going to live and die by the words they have sent to you. But you have to call it. See, the important thing is that you have to get into a position of empowerment and call it. Activating your free will and asking your ancestors and guides to step in to assist. Removing yourself from that stuff, of course, so that you can see clearly. But then calling it and setting those intentions constantly and returning to sender. Then also asking your team to reveal your hidden enemies and who they work with and shatter their cloak and their protection circles. See, if they wanted you to feel vulnerable and unprotected, send it back. May they feel vulnerable. May they be vulnerable and unprotected. Why? They shouldn't have done it. It's a part of a lesson. It's a part of their lesson. It's a lesson, you guys. It's a lesson. You don't get to fuck with people and go unscathed. You will pay. Especially the ones that won't quit. I tell you guys all the time, some of them are so far gone. Like my guys told me, eventually they will self-destruct because they can't help themselves. They will self-destruct. They can't stop doing rituals and spells, though they cry and promise when they're busted that they will. Stop believing that shit. They're demented souls. If they wanted to heal and change and transform, they would have been started doing that. The only reason why they're crying about it now is because karma is starting to come back to whoop that ass, and because people are starting to see them for who they are, and because they are afraid of people putting them on blast. My people watch me every day. They're the main ones that come on my videos. I can tell the difference. They're the main ones. They come and they sit and they watch. They don't like anything. They come and sit and watch. They do their rituals. They send messages amongst one another and commence to do fuckery. Just like the person who reported my last TikTok live. They sat in there for 38 minutes. This is what they do. Them or their goons. I told you guys, we're at the end of July. I said the illusions are going to shatter. For some of us, it's going to be the remaining of the year, okay? And so now I just want to close it out and say, as I was cleaning out my purse and wallet, I found an old fortune cookie fortune. It says, your doubts will turn to happiness soon. And see, these people wanted you all to be in doubt, and they also wanted people to doubt you. This is why they do confusion and chaos magic. This is why they do magic on divination, to discredit some of you all, but they're going to be put to shame. Watch what I tell you. Namaste.